Okay, so with your avid love of TV, post-career,
Yeah.
what would you have to say your favorite interview was as a player?
My favorite interview as a when I was playing?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good question. I'd probably say my favorite one was probably during. You know what? Now that I look back, my favorite one was, ironically enough, the CBC Fifth Estate when I was 17 years old, playing in the OHL for Owen Sound, and then the series, because it was a series, and then the last one that I did with them when I was 18, 19, playing for the Ottawa 67s, also with CBC Fifth Estate. And I'll tell you why. We just watched this the other day, and I'm actually going to get you a copy of the VHS. I'm getting it transferred to DVD. But this is how old school this interview was. But the Fifth Estate, and ironically enough, I did this, and I work on Hockey Night in Canada with CBC, but the Fifth Estate interview was really special because it was a feature on the road to playing in the NHL. And it was a contrast between playing major junior hockey in Canada, right, in the OHL, Western League, or Quebec League, and playing NCAA in the U.S. For a U.S. university. And I was one of the kids that was featured in this. And it's really interesting because you're how old?
16.
Okay, so I was a year older than you, doing this interview for CBC Fifth Estate. And I was about as skinny as this wire. And just kind of listening, looking at myself and putting myself back in that frame of mind. Hey, we're playing in Niagara Falls and there's 15 NHL scouts here and I've got to shine. And it's pregame and I'm downstairs in the hallway and I'm throwing the lacrosse ball against the wall, warming my hands up, getting my glove hand blocker going, and just kind of putting myself back in the frame of mind. Seeing different parts of that interview, different parts of those shows. Getting on the bus after the game, hugging my parents, kissing my parents. Okay, we're leaving Oshawa, now we're going to Belleville. Or we're leaving there, now we're going to Kingston or whatever. And just putting myself back in that time frame and looking at it now. Now I can sit back and say, okay, now I'm 37. I've been broadcasting the last 3 years. This will be my 4th year broadcasting. I played professionally for 14 years. Let me look back in retrospect and see that as a 17-year-old. It was really, really special. And as I said, funny how things come full circle because that was on CBC, Fifth Estate, and now I'm on CBC with Hockey Night in Canada. So, and my sister's actually working with CBC now on the Over the Rainbow show. So it's pretty interesting how things end up working out.
Now I'm gonna flip that. What is your favorite interview as an analyst?
As an analyst, that's a good one. An interesting one, probably the one I sat down and did with Marty Brodeur last year during the Stanley Cup Final, the one-on-one that we had. That was an interesting one because I really haven't talked to Marty extensively since I retired. And we played together for 2 years, and now they were in the Stanley Cup Final. They're playing against LA. And we did the sit-down for about 20 minutes. And I'd say that one, and then probably the one I did in my first year of broadcasting with Johnny Bower, Leafs legend Johnny Bower. And we were talking about the mask. We sat down. It was a special that we did on the NHL Network, talking about the creation and also the evolution of the goalie mask. And Johnny Bower was naturally my subject in the interview. I interviewed him down at the Hockey Hall of Fame. And my goodness, what a nice man. What a cool man he is. And I'd met him several times since I was a kid, since he still lives here in Toronto, and I was fortunate enough to meet him. And to sit down and talk to him, just him and I, goalie to goalie, on 2 bar stools inside the Hall of Fame, it didn't even feel like an interview. We were just relating. And I was just really just soaking everything up that he was saying. For him to, we played one night in Montreal and they took a shot and it ended up ricocheting off somebody's skates and it ended up hitting me in the forehead and then I was down and Rocket Richard tried to get the rebound and his blade ended up hitting me right here. That sort of thing. It's just, how cool is that for a legend to be able to share some of his stories with you, and doing this interview in the Hall of Fame just had this really unique aura to it as well. So I would say that those 2 were my favorite that I've done so far.
Amazing. Just amazing.
Thank you.
What do you enjoy the most about being on Hockey Night in Canada?
What I enjoy most about being on Hockey Night in Canada is Hockey Night in Canada is an institution. It's not just a TV show. It isn't just a hockey game or games that we broadcast on our air. Hockey Night in Canada is an institution, and it's become a part of Canadian culture, but interestingly enough, it's become a part of, it's transcended that. I mean, it's gone beyond that because, as I said earlier, whether your parents came from Italy, you're watching Hockey Night in Canada. If your parents came from Taiwan or Beijing, you're watching Hockey Night in Canada, or India or Pakistan, and we're able to impact the lives of millions of people all over the country, from a big city like Montreal or Toronto or Vancouver to small towns in northern Ontario or small towns in Alberta or east, out east. Like it's a part of everybody's life, and I think you can see the value of it now that the season's locked out. Yes, life goes on. Yes, people have other things to do, and I'm glad. But there's a void that's not there by us not being on the air every Saturday night. So it really is a privilege to be on. That was my first introduction to the game, was watching games on Hockey Night in Canada, much like it was for many people, and much like it is for many people. And just knowing that, all right, I'm in Calgary, let's say, calling the Battle of Alberta between Calgary and Edmonton, but you're watching in Stouffville or Richmond Hill. People are watching in Laval, Quebec. People are watching in, Smithers, BC. And all things told, there's millions of people that are watching us. And not only in Canada, there's millions of people watching us, and there's hundreds of thousands of people watching us in the US. There's people watching us internationally. I'm not even talking about Europe. I'm talking about Australia. My family in Barbados watches. Like, there's people literally. So yes, we're branded. Our name is Hockey Night in Canada, but our reach and our impact is global. And that really is a favorite thing to me, just to know that I'm fortunate enough for people to allow me into their living room or into your bedroom or into your basement or to your bar or your favorite restaurant or whatever, or into your local arena if you're watching, having some wings. I'm fortunate enough that, people allow me into their homes on this unbelievable platform that, as I said, is more than just a game or a show or a hockey show. It's really an institution. And I think, the fact that it's our 60-year anniversary, that's it's pretty special. Not to mention, I'm the first black broadcaster in NHL history and in Hockey Night in Canada history. When you think of all the greats, Foster Hewitt first doing games on Hockey Night, Bob Cole still doing games for us on Hockey Night, Harry Neal, Gary Dornhofer, all the greats. I mean, how many of them, color guys, play-by-play hosts, you name it, Don, Ron, to be one of them and to be a part of that family is very special.
To do really the impact
Yeah,
one show has.
exactly. The impact that one show has in how many ways, with how many people, it's pretty profound.
Because even if not everybody watches Hockey Night in Canada, you can talk about it and people know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
They relate to it. They understand like the depth to which
Sure.
this one show has brought people together for so long.
Absolutely.
And it's just really cool that you get to be involved with it. So now at least, because before I'd watch the Leafs game
Yeah.
and then I'd go to bed.
Then you're done.
But now I at least have to stay on for the first period to to listen to you, because you are that good.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And the games generally are better too because the Leafs aren't playing.
Yeah, no, I understand. Let's hope for everybody involved that they're much better this year, that they're improved.
So, different outlook here.
Sure.
How much work goes into running your own website?